Hey guys, welcome to another edition of the code. As usual, we'll just go over the team and share our progress, and we'll move on to um, open mic where you can ask any questions you might have. I'll just start and go over the people as I see them on the screen. So, Jacob, do you want to start?
I don't have any updates this week.
All right. Next is Zoli.
Yeah, hi guys. So you're here, so I want your update, okay? Is it okay? I guess it is. So I've been mainly working on Spot for the BT beacons and the notifications, so those will come pretty soon. The other smaller things that we did is a fix for the welcome screen that affected smaller screen devices and a slight facelift for the conference screen on the mobile application.
Yana, do you have anything to say?
I don't think so. I can share something for Christo because he's not here today. And he was working on it, on some looking at some of our issues with losing audio in some occasions. We have added some more logging because we were unable to uh, find the bug there. It's a rare case um, that we're trying to track and investigate. So that is something that we're still working on. And yeah, I cannot think of anything else right now.
Okay, so one small aside here, or important aside, I guess. I'd like to welcome Jonathan to our team. He he is on the call, yeah. So he joined us
Yeah.
last week,
2 weeks ago. Hello. Yes.
2 weeks ago.
Yes. Hello.
So he'll be working on the SFU mostly, I guess. And as we have more things, he'll be participating in the coast.
Actually, Jonathan, you were on the ITF last week. Do you think there's anything related to this group that you'd like to update people on, some new developments that you think would be of interest here?
IETF. I mean, nothing. I mean, it sounds like the great cluster of WebRTC documents are finally going to reach publication. So that's finally going to be a finalized standard. No changes there. It's just getting through final approvals and then the editing process, which will take them forever because they're enormous. But that's just the like copy editing and all that stuff. No, there shouldn't be any technical changes there unless something very surprising happens. At the IETF, sort of less directly, immediately related to us, but there's a lot of people who are expressing interest in figuring out if they can do media over quick, though nobody's too clear on what exactly that means yet. Just that I think that it seems like it'd be cool. So, and they want to do things that are cool. But it's not clear that there's terribly good reasons for that yet, at least from my point of view. But maybe they'll explain why they want to do it. But yeah, I think in terms of the actual standards that Jitsi uses and WebRTC, it's mostly they're finally actually getting finished.
Awesome. Thanks for the update. Damien?
I was working on small fixes. One interesting is adding the site ID to call stats. What is that? Yes. Okay.
You also work on translations.
Oh yeah,
That's
I've
relevant.
updated all the translations and the library we use. Moved it to. We were running in some compatibility mode, which will go away in the newer versions of the library we use, and that that was updated.
Would you like to talk about the changes in the versioning of the Java project?
So yeah, we were discussing. We have across all our project this tagging on every build. So we were discussing some changes there, and came with the Brian came with the idea to use the git describe command to extract the version. So basically, the build number will be stored now. Will come now from Git, not from some incremental number in the Jenkins we use. And also, we were discussing to move all the Maven packages from timestamp snapshots to releases, which will include that version. So that version will be used for the Debian packages and for the Maven artifacts, and will contain the major minor version control from the source code. Um, and the artifacts will now have the Git hash, so it will be easy to match them to source code.
But aren't we also preserving the build number in addition to the Git hash? I thought that's what we were doing.
There is incremental number which comes from Git,
Oh, okay.
which is the commit after, basically the commit after the last major minor change.
Got it.
Thank you. George?
Yeah, so in the past couple of weeks, I worked mainly on ironing out adaptivity in the new bridge. There were a few remaining issues that we believe now are fixed. Having completed that, I started looking into some connectivity issues that happened because the bridge drops packets, RTP packets, as we have discovered. These were known, these issues were more or less known in a while, but we were hoping that were happening infrequently enough that we could postpone their addressing them, but actually they're not, and we want to fix those. So for now, I'm suspecting something related to signaling that makes the bridge forget certain SSRCs, causing it to drop the packets. But I don't have the full picture yet, so yeah, I got nothing more to share on this. That's all from me.
George, did you say, was that something new you found today?
No, I'm just suspecting something related to signaling because I can see that there are IQs to the bridge to remove the specific SRC that starts, that the bridge starts to drop. But it's a bit hairy because I also have some contradicting logs. I have been able to catch the issue in production in multiple log files, so we have multiple occurrences in production, but going through each occurrence is a lengthy process. So yeah.
Okay, I misheard.
I'm
I thought
suspecting.
I thought you were talking about something in the new bridge that you found today.
No. But this should affect new bridge, old bridge. It's not specific to the old bridge. So at least work that we do there, it's going to help the new bridge as well.
And the plan is to fix the issue in both the old and the new if we have to backport, or just do the fix twice, right?
I suppose. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, George. Brian?
Yeah, so we've had some good kind of tests on the new bridge, which is partially why I had a heart attack when I thought George was talking about the new bridge just now. So we'll be doing some more validation today, and basically what we're validating at this point, we're calling the merge candidate. So I think if today looks good, and after I get more of a chance to sync up with Boris and George, we'll definitely be looking at doing the merge this week. And just so everyone knows, the plan is to merge this to master, and then we'll be running it on beta for a while. Meet Jitsi will still be deployed from the old bridge, which will be backed up in a branch. And I'll make a post on the forum talking about kind of some changes and some things that we've deprecated, and it's just kind of a summary of some new bridge stuff. And we'll be continuing to, still there, we have a few known issues. We'll be continuing to work on all that. And as that looks good, we'll get to a point where we'll then deploy new bridge to meet Jitsi, and then we'll be kind of fully stable, fully merged. So that's the plan moving forward.
Thanks, Brian. So, do you have anything to share?
Yeah, a couple of things, I guess. Kind of taking it from where Zoli left, that fix he mentioned about space in the welcome page. So we released a hotfix for the current Android release, so that was 19.2.2. We had this bad bug where some devices with low-ish resolutions couldn't edit any text. So we made that quote-unquote emergency release. And then now what I did mostly was I worked on some React Native WebRTC things. So I know of them landed already. So we have proper constraints support. So now we can do multiple resolutions in mobile. And we also have media stream constructor support. That allowed us to remove a fallback path that was only used on React Native on libjitsi Meet. So slowly but surely, we are shaving some of the yaks required to arrive at a decent API, if you will. And this unlocks the ability for us to test with lowering the resolution, trying to sort of balance resolution and CPU usage. We sort of also related to WebRTC, we also have enough anecdata to feel happy about the update to M75 with regards to echo cancellation. Looks like it's completely gone from Pixel 2 devices, and before it was horrible. So that's pretty exciting. No ETA on any new mobile app releases with this update. We're gonna build some more confidence, and that's what I've been doing.
Thanks. So, Aaron?
Yeah, not a ton here. I've been investigating adding Anycast endpoints in front of all of the bind HTTPS BOSH traffic that is happening. It's not yet released, but I'm hoping to push that to meet Jitsi after a little bit more testing. Other than that, I don't really have anything for the community.
Thanks, Aaron. Pablo?
So I added new analytics event which tracks when user rejoins the same conference. Maybe that can be useful for someone if you have your own deployments. Other than that, I was looking into using peer-to-peer connection in Spot so that the commands are going faster between the Spot TV and Spot Remote. And I guess that's all from me.
Thanks, Pablo. I don't have anything to add. I've been working with Brian and George on merging the new bridge, but nothing to add there. And Mio, do you have anything to add before we move on to questions?
Actually, I got a little bit distracted while Saul was speaking. I didn't hear Saul if you mentioned the fact that we're working on a low bandwidth mode, which we're going to want to have in both mobile and desktop. And we have some cool things there, like the ability to have desktop even when you are in low bandwidth mode. This is supposed to supersede the currently existing audio only mode. And we think that's going to be a an important improvement. We also, I don't believe we've talked so far about the ability to. Sorry, had a call. So the ability to blur is now on me, Jitsi. I think we released that last week or the week before last, since the last community call. So we do have, it's still in beta, has a few, the most well-known issue that we have with it is that it currently is quite CPU hungry. We have a few pretty good leads about how to improve that. So before we take it out of beta, we think it would be manageable in terms of CPU consumption. That's all. Thank you, Boris.
Thanks, Emil. Just to demonstrate the blur feature, my background should be blurred now. And let's move to questions from the community. Anyone?
Hi, this is Paul. So that point about you connecting to Spot over P2P, is that in a branch somewhere? I'm just curious, sort of the approach for how that would work.
Yes, there's a branch on the Spot repo. There are not many branches there, so you should be able to find it.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. I will check that out.
This is Nathan. This is my first time on the community call, but I wanted to ask some questions about if we're having issues, connecting with Meet Jitsi, with matching, people up on sessions with that. What's the best way to troubleshoot that, or to send log information, or anything that would be useful to you to look into issues we're having?
So the best way to do for issues is the community forum.
Okay.
Are you familiar with that? That's community.jitsi.org. So that's often the great first place to start, and then we're pretty active on there. And then on this it can always be a great place to start too if you're not getting the answers for some reason. The call,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I did post some stuff on the community, and Saul was very helpful with getting back to me on some things. And so that's part of the reason why I joined the call, just to kind of get in. And I think some of the low bandwidth things that Emil was mentioning would be useful to us, I think, in that case, because we have people all over the world, and I think sometimes that causes a problem with the connections. So I'm just trying to understand still what could be the issues. I think some of it is potentially Firefox users versus, and different things that Saul and I have been back and forth about that. But I was trying to figure out the most useful way to get information about those problems to you. I don't exactly know how to do that. The best way to report things or share things and that sort of thing. But I guess I'll go through the community. But
yeah, the community is good. We're pretty active on there, and it's easy to share logs. So that's usually a good place to start a discussion. And if something ends up being a bug, we could end up filing something on GitHub for it. But the community is I think the best place to go.
Okay, cool. I'll keep doing that. But right now I'm trying to figure out. I was just trying to find patterns or something in the issues that are happening, and so that I could at least have some sort of indication of what the issue is, so I could share that. But it seems to be happening more and more over the last couple of weeks, and I don't know, what the issues are. If it's changes with Firefox or changes with Chrome, or if it's something to do with, the P2P connections or the bridge or whatnot. So, but anyway, I'll try to find more information.
Just to note here, first, if you are sharing, if you have a problem, you're writing to the community forum. If the problem is on Meet Jitsi and you share the URL of the meeting and the time, we do have some logs that we can look into. So that's helpful.
Okay. Oh, that is very helpful. Actually, to know that.
Also, we are aware of a problem with Firefox where intermittently and completely fails to join the conference.
Okay.
It seems to be an ice failure. We don't know why.
Okay.
It seems to be pretty rare, maybe 1 to 3% of the time.
Okay.
So it's something on our radar, but we don't have a fix yet.
Okay. And do you know, I think I read something, I don't know if it was in GitHub or in the community about connection or connectivity problems where they fail to rejoin, because we tend to find that a lot of people solve the problem by reloading the browser, a couple times, and then it solves the issue. So I'm wondering if there's an issue that you're aware of there where when a connectivity problem happens, it fails to rejoin.
That's exactly what we see with Firefox. So
okay.
The client fails to reload automatically, and you need to refresh manually.
Okay. Okay. Cool. All right. So that's one of the solutions we've been, using, but it doesn't always solve the problem. So I'm just trying to figure out the other issues. Okay. Thanks so much.
Anyone else? I'll give it. Yep.
Sorry. One more question about the new bridge. So we're, as I've mentioned a while back, we're using kind of the old recorder RTP implementation in JVB for a variety of reasons, and so to the new bridge. And so I think one of the issues we were initially that was on our radar that we were worried about is the bundle stuff and RTCP mux, and it sounds like both of those are now supported in the new bridge.
New bridge only supports those, yeah.
Okay, good. Are there any other things that we should be aware of, just sort of in planning to port this over?
This week I will put a post out that talks about like some deprecations and known issues. So if you're referring to that sort of a thing, look out for that and feel free to ask some questions there. If you want to have like a discussion that's a bit more specific around like recording new bridge, I'd be happy. If you want to start something on the community, I'd be happy to help figure out like how best to implement what you guys would need there. Or if you have anything more specific now, we could ask that. But,
yeah. One limitation that we have on the new bridge, specifically with Octo, is that endpoint IDs need to have a certain format, namely to be 8 hex digits. Right. That's probably going to go into the new bridge right now, but I think we'll be talking about possibly removing it. So that's still an open question there. And I know someone asked it on the community forum, and I am going to respond there.
Yeah, we saw that. Yeah, because that affects us in a completely different place, which we can also work around it. But yeah, it would be, it's not critical, but it would be helpful just to know if that is to be changed, just a plan. But yeah, I mean, I think we could definitely bring this into the community. And I mean, I think in terms of the specifics, it's really just the older implementing that interface, the recorder interface, but ours is based on the recorder RTP impl, and primarily we need sort of lower level control than just sort of what's done in the newer Jibri implementation with FFmpeg and Chrome. But obviously we'd have the RTP impl is based very much on the old JMF code. So I think that would be the big changes would be implementing it with which we're very excited to try out, like all the new RTP pipeline stuff. So yeah, that would be really interesting, just to kind of get just a higher level view on what things to look out for and the general approach. Cool.
Cool. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Anyone else? Any questions? Seems like we don't have anything else for today.
Yes.
Oh,
it's
one more.
Peter. I like to be last, in case I don't want to bug people who want to leave early. So a couple of meetings ago when I joined, I was told that there may be a way of extracting the name that a person has. So let's say somebody comes in, they call themselves John123 through the API, because we're using meet.jitsi, but within our own website. And it would be great, but we haven't been able to find that. So I'm wondering if somebody, but there was the suspicion, in the room at the time, the community room, that there should be something in the API that allows us to extract what that name is, so that we can.
Was it really about extracting it though, or was it about the ability to set it for the local user?
Oh no, we've been able to set it. No problem. So, if somebody logs into our site and their name is John123, then we've been successful in being able to show them as John123. But now when I click on somebody, let's say there's 5 users and I click on one of them and one of them is Mary, 245, I need to be able to extract that Mary 245, because we then want to map that against their profile and be able to show a little mini profile to say who this person is, what's their occupation, and so forth.
And
So,
you want to do that for the active speaker specifically?
For
or for the
anybody
currently
who's in the
selected?
meeting, by clicking on one of their boxes, when you see the username, ideally we should be able to have a little pop-up show up. That's what we really want to be able to do, is when you click on their username.
You want to have an event as well that tells you that someone is currently selected.
Exactly. So when we click on somebody's name, it starts an event and it grabs that username, and then we take it from there and do something with it.
So I don't know.
And because they're coming in through our system, every name would be unique, because we're basically showing the username, that they logged in with.
Right. So I don't know that this is possible today. Please, anyone in the code who currently knows a way to do this, please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think you can currently extract other people's names.
What we have to do right now as a workaround, we have a box that says enter username here, and then so you look on the screen who are all the usernames, and you have to manually type one of them in, and then you see their mini profile pop up. But it would be great if you could just click on one of the users, who are in the Jitsi room, and it automatically pops up. That's what I'm trying to get at.
So I may be missing a point here, but is there a reason why you are not able to use the iframe API here to retrieve?
No, they just don't know how to. They just don't know how to get the name out of the iframe API. They are using the iframe API.
Oh,
yeah. They're just wondering.
Then it should be easy, because you have events like participants joined and so on, which contains the display name of the user. You even get an event when it changes, if it changes at all.
That sounds good.
The remote users only?
The remote users as well, yes.
Okay.
That's what we use for the avatar stuff and so on, yeah.
Okay, that sounds great.
What's the event called? Because we looked at an event called Participant Joined, and there wasn't, we couldn't see anything about it. What was the one that you called?
Can you post this question on the community forum, and then I promise I will jump on it, and then we can take it from there, because it may get longer than what we can.
Sure. No problem. I'll do that. And what's your name? Yeah, sorry.
Zoli. It's Zoli. Zoli.
Zoli. Okay, Zoli, I'll direct it to you in the community forum. And similar question a couple of meetings ago had to do more with the feedback screen. You know, after a meeting is over, and we checked in the doc on GitHub, and we couldn't find events available with names. I think it was mentioned feedback prompt displayed meeting left hang up, pressed conference left, or something like that, but we couldn't find anything. I think it was Lenny that said there should be an event called feedback prompt displayed. Because what we want to be able to do is put our own, you know, when that, instead of that page coming up, and the issue here again, and I think other people sympathize with me, is that when people are in one of our meetings and they want to leave some feedback, it's probably going to be more related to the content of the meeting. How did the speaker do? And, you know, what was the meeting about? And blah, 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 more so than the technology. And, you know, so it would be good if we could actually have our own feedback somehow coming up rather than it going. I don't mind if it's being shared with the Jitsi community if you guys want, but as long as we know, you know, when somebody's leaving some feedback, we should be able to know what it is, because it's probably relating to our meeting. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. That's a good question. I'm not sure, and maybe Damien is the one who can answer whether you can disable the feedback form or not, because that would be one step to reach your goal. The other is to detect when the meeting ends, and then navigate maybe the iframe away to your own feedback form, which should be visible easily. We do that in the Electron app as well. You should maybe check the code out in the repo. I'm not sure about our own form. Damien, do you have an idea if it can be disabled?
No, it cannot be disabled at the moment.
It cannot be disabled, but the main use case here is the meeting ended, the feedback screen appeared. So you basically detect meeting ended, and you can just dispose the iframe and show your thing. So if you just use meeting ended event, isn't that enough? Peter?
I guess so. If we can find out where that is. So when there's a meeting ended event, so when somebody clicks on the red button, hang up, this event should be fired up, and then we can do something with it, like show our own screen over top of it.
You should just get rid of the Jitsi iframe at that point, and then just replace it with whatever you want. Or as Zola suggested, you could just make the iframe load something else, or however you want to implement that.
Right. Okay. So how do we find out where to find this meeting ended event? Is that what it's called?
Is
Video conference left event.
Conference?
Video conference left.
Left. Okay, we'll look for that.
Damien, could you post a link to that in the chat if you're looking at it right now? A link to some file that contains it.
I will.
Oh, that'd be great.
Thanks for that, Peter. Actually, because that might be helpful to us as well. That's good.
Yeah,
and we definitely don't want all your feedback. That's actually quite confusing to us as well, because it messes up our stats, and we're looking for quality stats, and we're getting for evaluations of people and all that. So it's
that's a very, very important point, because like actually a lot of people in our sessions, I think, are rating the person they're having the session with as opposed to rating the session, and then you're probably getting these weird messages about, you know, the partner was annoying or something like that.
Exactly.
So so we can help in that, but we also would like to get that feedback on how the sessions are going. So I mean, as far as the technology goes, so if we get more feedback on that directly to ourselves, then we can always pass that along. Not all the other stuff you don't need. That's good.
No,
like
that's,
that.
You don't need to worry about passing it back. But if you can just catch that meeting ended event.
Yes.
And
Yeah, that'll be good. We'll do that. We'll definitely do that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Okay, let's go it. Thank you everyone for joining, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Thanks a lot.